It's our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts, cause I'm too lost. Speakers can't even handle me. Even what I got, nobody will drain my energy. And I will never stop. I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And now What's going on, guys? Today's video is awesome. You know, we watch a lot of these different videos where police compound the issue. Put a 1 in the chat if you got a notification, by the way, as well. We watch a lot of these videos where police compound the issue. This is one of those videos where an activist is actually stopped and you have one police officer get involved with the arrest and actually question the validity of the arrest. And you can see the cops start to turn on each other as the, we'll say, bad cop. Real Jingy, what's up? Spooky Press on Free. Hello, all members. Bananarana, M Star Media, Tony F, Tyrant Searcher UK, D Johns. Hello, thanks for being here. As if it's your business. Hello to all the mods. This video is actually very, very interesting. We're going to have the activist himself. He released the body cam on this video just about just over a year ago. It's got just shy of 1 million views. He's going to be up here actually as well to discuss this video. I'm going to show a quick interaction real quick, give you guys a little bit of a teaser of how awesome this is, and then we'll start from the beginning, and he'll be up shortly.
I meant like shooting into the house where naked people are naked. Yeah. So.
Okay, man.
All right.
Let me know if it develops further, all right?
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Is he going to get out and come back here and talk to us?
No, she just said you're arresting. And he's been videoing this whole time.
I know he's been videoing
some questions. Go ahead and just lock me up.
What are you arresting him for?
I don't know. Not for long.
What are you arresting him for?
Huh?
He hasn't violated really a crime yet. So
Are you investigating a crime or possible crime?
possibly.
Okay, he's obstructing an officer for doing his duty, right?
Okay.
Said you're meeting somebody here in a few minutes?
You have a legal right to make contact with you based on a call.
And I don't
And
have
you're
to
obstructing that. I'm not here to listen to it. I'm here to tell you what's going on.
All right, guys. So there you have it. The cop says, what are we arresting him for? We don't really have a legal reason to arrest this man. But that doesn't stop the police. They'll just arrest you anyways. He didn't do anything wrong. Well, are you investing a possible crime? Yes. All right, then he's going to jail. Since when does a possible crime become an actual crime when it's agreed that no crime has been committed? Everyone, if you could please smash that like button. By the way, you're available to super chat. If you super chat, your name will be in the next video. And I'm going to play this from the beginning. This one's a doozy, guys. Cops turn on each other over a legal arrest.
Well, I like to identify you, just know who I'm dealing with. How's it going, man? You live over here, or what's we doing over here? I've had a couple people call in on you.
Am I doing something illegal?
Well, no, they're just calling on you saying that they don't recognize a truck in the area. So, my duty to check and see if you live over here or what's going on.
I'm over here. I'm here for a purpose.
Okay. All right. You working? You see you got a ladder in the back. You working somewhere?
Yes, sir.
You got a driver's license on you just so I can identify you?
Have I done something illegal?
Well, I like to identify you, just know who I'm dealing with. Make sure.
Fourth Amendment right not to show that.
Well, if I'm making contact with you for a reasonable suspicion call like I am right now.
Being suspicious is a misdemeanor or felony.
Okay. Well, sir, here's the deal. I was called on you. Okay. For a suspicious vehicle, you said yourself you don't live over here. You have a purpose. What's your purpose? Is the purpose legal or illegal?
That's for you to determine.
Okay. So for me to determine that, I need to see your ID.
How is my ID going to determine determine whether I'm.
Well, it helps to let
legally
you
or
know who
not
I'm dealing
legally.
with. Let you know who I'm dealing with.
But my name doesn't tell you whether I'm.
Excellent point. This cop comes up and he says, "Hey, listen, we've been getting calls to suspicious vehicles." And this guy says, "Okay, what law is suspicion? Is that a felony or is that a misdemeanor? What in fact is suspicion?" He says, "Oh no, neither. But I'm going to need your ID so I know who I'm dealing with." How does this figure out how you're going to realize who you're dealing with? That's actually him right there, guys. OKC Vet HPA. Everyone subscribe to him. Go ahead, Mons, if you want to put his link in the chat. I was going to wait till he got up here, but you guys can post his link. I'd like everyone to go there. But he's asking all the right questions. I haven't done anything wrong. Suspicion is not a crime. I understand you might want to know who I am, but how is knowing who I am going to determine, how is seeing my ID fulfill a possible crime? It's ridiculous. But let's continue, because my favorite part of this video is when one cop has the courage to stand up and say he didn't do anything wrong. Why are you arresting him?
Yeah, it would tell me, like, if I don't know if you belong over here. You said you don't, so I don't know if someone over here's got a VPO or something against you. And if you got your ID
Did
or
I say
something,
I didn't belong over here?
you said you had purpose.
I don't live over here.
Okay.
Okay. I do belong
Okay.
here.
All right.
So that's as far as I'm willing to take it.
So you're not willing to give me your ID?
I don't have any reason to.
Okay. Well, do you have a reason for being over here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can I know that reason?
No.
Okay.
It's not none of your business.
Well, it is my business if you're planning on breaking into something, which I don't know if you are or not.
Make that determination whether you feel I want to break into something.
Well, that's why I want to identify you to help me figure out the determination.
How is my identifier?
Okay, because if I identify you and I run your check and it says you've been arrested 5 times for burglary, then I'm going to go a little bit further. If it's nothing, I'm just going to identify you, kick you loose, have a good day.
What suspicion of a crime do you think that?
Let's hold on a second, folks. So this cop saying, "You're not breaking the law right now. I have no reasonable articulable suspicion or probable cause to identify you or to even be having this conversation. However, if you do have a criminal past, that will help me decide if I'm going to continue to violate your rights that I shouldn't be violating in the first place. But if you don't have a criminal record or any tickets that I should know about, then maybe I'll just leave you alone." You can't punish someone today for something they did yesterday. And he doesn't even know who this man is. So how could he have any probable cause to believe he's been engaged in any criminal activity?
I'm half committed, about to commit murder.
5-1, check me, sharp 512 over. So I have a call for service. Okay. I've had multiple.
You're doing your
I've
job.
had multiple calls. And so if you're not from here, I'm not sure if you are or not, because I don't know who you are. Okay.
My plate's right back there. I'm sure you can run it.
Yeah. Okay. So is that how you want me to identify you? Through your plate?
If that's what you have.
Are you the owner of the vehicle?
Do you suspect that I'm not?
I have no reason to believe you are.
Well, I'm sitting in a truck in front of a house.
Wait, I'm just confused. Maybe you guys can help me out at home. This guy's in a vehicle, and because he's sitting in a vehicle, the police officer has no reason to believe that it's actually his vehicle. What's happening?
Wait.
For what?
I'm confused right here.
Okay.
That's none of your business.
It is my business.
No, it's not. Why is it your business?
Because I want to make sure you're not going to break into these houses or anything like that.
Do I look like that?
I don't know. You have a ladder.
That's your determination.
You have a ladder. What could you use?
Do you hear this, people? Because this poor guy has a ladder. That means it's most likely that he's going to be breaking into somebody's house.
Use a ladder for? Well, no, but if you've been arrested multiple times for burglary, it could be. I'm trying to get your ID and make that determination. It's really not that hard. All I'm trying to do is identify you.
I have a Fourth Amendment right. I have not.
But you also have the right. I also
You have the right to ask me.
if I'm conducting an investigation, which I'm currently doing, and you don't comply, it's obstruction, correct?
Am I being detained?
I'm asking you a question first before I answer that.
Okay. until I know whether or not I'm being detained.
You are not free to leave at this time.
Okay, then I'm being detained. I won't answer any questions until I have
Until I deactivate my lights, until you're free to go your tanes, like a traffic stop. Okay? So, do you have an ID on you? Do you have an ID on
I
you?
don't answer questions.
Do you have an ID on you?
I don't answer questions.
Guys, it's very important to note how awesome he's really doing, because the cop's saying it's a traffic stop, so you're not free to go. Yes, he is, because you're not citing him for a moving violation. He's just parked on a public roadway. It's not marked that you can't park there. He's not obstructing any oncoming or flowing traffic. So that, disabled. There's no reason to be trying to figure out if he needs to get his ID. There's no moving violation. So the only other reason he could ask him for his ID if he has probable cause or reasonable articulable suspicion to believe that a felony or misdemeanor has happened, is currently in the commission, or is about to happen in his immediate presence, which is clearly not happening unless he's trying to stretch this thing that a ladder means he's a burglar. I've never seen a burglar run away with a ladder duct taped to his back. This is absolutely awesome. And he's like, yeah, so I'm not answering any questions. I don't answer questions. Awesome work. Everyone spam his link in the chat, please. Just absolutely killing it. This is OKC Vet HPA. Just awesome. Let's continue to watch.
Accepting searches or seizures of persons without individuals. Nothing wrong. I'm sitting on the side of the road in front of the house. Public roadway that's perfectly legal.
This is public roadway,
Public roadway.
owned by the city of Blanchard. But is it owned by the city of Blanchard? Is this owned by the city? But that's not what I'm asking, sir. 28, come back to it. Are you Mr. Blanche?
That's not what she said.
That's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like. Can you repeat that last name, please?
Hey, from Grant, George Robert, Alan Laura, Tom Zebra.
Radio distorted sometimes. Clear on Grants. So are you Mr. Grants? Alright, man. Dude, it's not a big deal. I'm just trying to identify you and catch you loose.
With this day and age, as you guys put it, citizens have to start standing up for their rights where they lose their rights.
I'm not trying to lose your rights at all, man. I'm just trying to make sure all these people around here living in this neighborhood are safe. Okay?
Do you have any reason to believe that I'm here for a nefarious reason?
Do you think I have any reason to believe that you're not? Well, if I knew why you're here, I'd cut you loose now.
Hold on a second. He's saying, do you have any reason to believe that I'm here on a public road, not engaged in criminal activity, sitting in my vehicle, that I am involved in any nefarious activity? The cop's answer, John Eagle, what's up? The cop's answer should be, no, you're not doing anything wrong. I have no reason to believe you're involved in nefarious activities. But this is what cops do. They like to answer valid questions with invalid questions, right? Well, do I have any reason to believe you're not? Yes, it's the fucking law.
Have a good day. That's what you claim.
And another thing, guy, this is a quick lesson in how police try and get you to comply. How many times, count it out, I have five separate times that this cop has told this man that if you just ID, you'll be on your way. It's just like saying, admit to something you didn't do and we'll get you out of here faster. There's no reason to ID. I'm certainly not going to help this cop violate my rights.
Look, man, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not trying to do you sideways or anything like that. I'm just trying to identify you, make sure you're not a wanted murderer somewhere, and then I'm going to cut you loose. That's all there is. That's all there is. And I have a right to figure out why you're here. Make sure you're, as in your words, not here for probably affirmative. Definitely need to. He's refusing to give me identification.
That's your determination. You have to make.
Well, like I said, man, it's not that big a deal.
But I have every right to say that.
I understand it. I'm not trying to violate your rights in any way, sir. I'm trying to do my job and make sure.
Very professional and very courteous. And I just have my rights that I'm gonna stand by.
And I understand that, and I don't want to.
For that purpose.
And I saw the Army sticker, and I appreciate your service, but I want to make sure that you're not here for a nefarious reason.
And I just want to say something from a personal note. This guy doesn't have his own camera filming. It's just the police body camera. This guy doesn't have anyone to impress. He can literally pass on his ID, be on his way, and have no issues. But this man says, I served my country. I defended our nation, our people, we the people, and our freedoms from all enemies, foreign and domestic. I swore an oath to the Constitution. I will not allow you to violate it. I will not give up on my rights for your security and safety. I'm going to continue to serve the same flag that I served so honorably. And kudos to him, because most people would just give the ID. He isn't saving face. He certainly has nothing to lose in our eyes, but in his eyes, that's his Constitution. And good on him for standing tall.
So that's all I gotta do is identify you, make sure that you're not a wanted murderer or got warrants like that, then I'll cut you loose and you have a good day.
You already ran my place. They gave you the information that you needed. You can ask them to go and run me through NCIC or.
Do you have a date of birth then? Because I have to run it with a name and date of birth.
I'm not going to answer that question.
So you're telling me how I should do my job, but yet you're not allowing me to do my job.
I'm standing up for my rights.
And I understand that, like I said.
I haven't done
but
anything wrong.
I'm doing my job,
Okay,
conducting an investigation.
I haven't committed a crime. I'm sitting here in front of a house, which is perfectly legal.
Well, you're not completely on the roadway there, sir.
Okay, has anybody asked me to move?
Do they have to ask you to move? It's private property?
Okay, but there's also a public easement right here.
Oh, it is a public, because this is the city of Blanchard Road, so it's a public easement?
No, the side of the road is.
Oh, because this is the city of Blanchard Road, so therefore make a city easement of a city road, right?
What are you trying to accomplish?
What I'm trying to, all I want to do,
I'm
sir, is
not gonna give
identify
my
you.
ID.
Okay.
Okay, I haven't done anything illegal.
Well, then
You understand that by not identifying yourself appropriately as requested by the officer is illegal.
it's
Okay.
obstruction.
That's a secondary charge. Okay, I have to be, for you to ID me from the state of Oklahoma, okay, I have to be suspected of committing a crime, about to commit a crime.
Well, you are committing a crime, you're trespassing.
Has anybody told me to leave?
Somebody has called in that you're
Hold on a minute, people. Now he's trespassing? We just saw this with Direct D when poor Direct D was arrested for standing on a public easement. Just so you know, if you're not aware, you cannot be trespassed from a public place. Police cannot even solicit a trespass against you from a private place. The only way you can be trespassed from a public place is if you commit a crime. Or in some places, if there's a violation of a city ordinance. But that ordinance needs to be constitutional in its concept. So this cop is striking out, right? I need your ID. Didn't do anything wrong. Get bent. You're not getting ID. Oh, you have a ladder on your truck. You could be a burglar. Like this is how it digresses.
shut up. Somebody has called
First off,
in.
you don't tell me to shut up.
I'll tell you what I want to tell you.
Okay, you're not going to tell me to shut up. I'm
Somebody called us
47,
in.
48,
I don't care
48.
how old you are.
You're not going to sit there and tell me to shut up.
Here's the deal, man.
There is no deal.
I'm trying to
I
explain
don't
to you
answer
what gives us the
questions.
right. You telling me
I
that
don't answer
we don't have the
questions.
right? I'm explaining to you how we have the right.
You don't have a right to
And
get
then-
your ID if I've done nothing wrong.
I'm trying to explain to you why we have the right to
You
get your
don't
ID.
have it.
I'm trying to explain to you why I have it. Okay, will you listen to me? There is a call that somebody placed to our police department of a suspicious vehicle and person inside that vehicle. We therefore have the right to come investigate that.
Okay, is
By
being
that
suspicious-
being the
Let him finish,
by
sir.
that being the case, we are here investigating that, and in order and part of that investigation, we can identify you and request
You
your
can ask.
identification.
You may ask all you
And
want.
you are also required
I
by
am
law,
not required by law.
upon request,
If I
by
show
law
you the state
enforcement, to
statute
ID yourself.
that you're required to do that, will you give me your ID?
Absolutely. Show me the statute.
Give me 1 second.
Guys, here's the part in the show where I say we have 150 people. Please smash that like button. Also, if you'd like to super chat, you can get your name and a shout out for the next video. Please also subscribe to OKC Vet. Question I'm going to ask everyone in the crowd. This officer is about to look up the state statute. Do you think, number one, he looks up the state statute, this guy's wrong, and he pursues an illegal arrest? Press 1. Do you think he looks up the state statute, sees that the citizen is more educated than he is, and then fights his other cop colleagues to stop the illegal arrest? 1 or 2, throw them in the chat.
699-9715 and 2. Clear 1453.
Hey, Travis.
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing. Sorry to bother you. I got a random question for you, though. I'm dealing with something right now. So I got called out to an address out here in Blanchard, Summer Valley Road, for a suspicious vehicle. And gentleman's parked in a black pickup. He's from Oklahoma City, but he won't give me his name and tells me he doesn't have to give me his driver's license because he's not done anything wrong.
He's driving a vehicle?
Well, he's parked right now.
Oh, okay. Well, technically, there's no obligation for him to identify himself. I mean, unless you've got reasonable suspicion that he's committing a crime.
Well, the thing is I have no reasonable suspicion to believe that he's not committing crime because he has a ladder in the back of the truck and he's in front of a house.
Hold on and let my mind be blown. Awesome job for the cop that picks up the phone and says, there's no reasonable articulable suspicion to believe that he's committed a crime, so there's no reason to get his name. The cop in turn says, well, I have no reasonable articulable suspicion to believe he hasn't committed a crime. He has a ladder in the back of the truck.
Houses that aren't occupied right now.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, there's no compelled ID statute in Oklahoma. I have to think about. I mean, do you have anything else to suggest that he might be involved in something illicit?
Well, I'm curious why a man from Oklahoma City is parked on a dead-end road in Blanchard, and he has no. I ask him if he lives here, and he says I don't answer questions.
Okay. Yeah. So.
He asked if he was free to leave, and I said, not at this time. I have my emergency equipment activated, and I'm trying to investigate.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're going to drive away, absolutely, you can make enough. You can have, or he's driving he's operating a motor vehicle, but you don't have a traffic violation at that point.
Well, I fall him out of.
Guys, big problem with this here is now they're trying to find somehow they can get this guy caught up. He's like, oh, well, if he drives away, then you can ID him. Ooh, no, you can't do that because he has to commit a traffic violation. He calls. He wants to know, can I get this ID, this guy's ID? He's saying he doesn't have to ID. The cop says, no, not if he hasn't done anything wrong. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the discussion. Now they're sitting there for up on 7 minutes trying to figure out anything that they could find to see if there's any way they can violate this man's Fourth Amendment right to be secure in his persons, his papers, and his effects. And this guy has shut them down, well-educated, well-armed with knowledge against these dirty tyrant swine.
Out of town until I get one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, you don't have a complaining party. You haven't found him actually trespassing. All you've got is a guy sitting in front of an unoccupied house with a ladder in the back.
Yeah, and The road he's on is you know, it's one of those not city Blanchard roads, but he says it's city easement, even though he's parked in this person's yard. Part of his truck is in the person's ditch line. He's like, well, that's easement. I'm like, well, this is a private road, so therefore it's not a city easement, buddy.
Right.
Sorry, officer, you are wrong again, partially because you're a fucking moron. What this cop is trying to say is maybe I can get his ID because technically he's not on a city road. So he's technically parked on a side road that is someone's private property. But no one has asked him to leave the property. No one has alleged that he's trespassed, and the police can't solicit a trespass. They are literally trying to examine every single moment of what this guy is going through to find anything they can, and they can't find shit. That will not stop them from moving forward. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if you think this cop will turn it around and do the right thing. Put a 2 if you think he's part of the problem and he's filthy pig swine. And super chat, by the way. And we'll answer your questions. We'll put your name in our next video and subscribe to NC Tyrant Hunter.
Yeah, man. I don't think you got enough to compel him to give you his identification.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's not what you want to hear.
No, that's why I called you instead of just ripping him out of his truck.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, he might try to think of a way to get him pulled over and stop.
Listen to that, guys. He goes, I know that's not what you want to hear, but you have no reason to obtain his identification right now. But what you can do is you can follow him and you can try and find some sort of traffic violation, and then you can get him that way.
I would have to, you have to base on some sort of observed traffic violation in order to get him ID.
Yes.
But like, this is frustrating the hell out of me for years.
Play 3 minutes, young lady. Code 4.
It has what on it?
Today's date was 3
Yes,
a.m.
14.
and a camera, and it has one of these addresses.
Oh, okay, so
Plain view in the front seat.
He's got a manila envelope in his front seat in plain view with a camera on it. The manila envelope has 3 a.m. and today's date.
And one of these addresses.
And an address on the street on it.
Kids on Summer Oaks. Summer Valley.
Did you hear that, Travis?
Yeah, I didn't quite understand it. He's got a manila envelope
Okay.
plain view on the passenger seat. It's got a date and a time
And
and
an,
an address on it.
An address on this street on it.
and it says 3 a.m.
It says 3 a.m.
and a camera.
and a camera sitting next to it.
Oh, he's probably a private investigator.
Probably, but I don't know why he wouldn't want to tell me that.
I asked him if he was a
Because those guys are douchebags.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh-oh, guys. By the way, smash that like button, please. 184 people. We need 184 likes. Now look at this part. The other cop, his super duper assistant that just sucks out loud at life and being a cop in general, runs up to him with her chunky self and says, hey, he's got a manila envelope and it's sitting in his passenger seat. On it is a camera. Written on the envelope is the time 3 a.m. and the address for one of the houses on this street. I think we found probable cause. Why? He could be a contractor. He could be buying property. Hence, 3 a.m. What's he doing at 3 a.m.? Even this other cop says he could be a private investigator. Nothing they find is even close to illegal.
that's been my experience, and there's probably some of the more litigious people that you'll have to come across. I've been involved in a lawsuit. Yeah, and I just don't think you're over the line. I mean, I don't think you're beyond that point.
Okay. Well,
All right.
all right. I'll just tell him that I'll contact Cleet about his private eye license or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to continue, talking to him,
But I'm just, and I gave him the same spiel I gave everybody else that says I don't have to give my ID. Yeah, you're right, you don't. But I like to know who I'm dealing with. Make sure you're not a convicted murderer. And he says, well,
Right.
I don't answer any questions. I'm like, look, man, I'm not asking you a whole bunch of questions. I'm just trying to figure out who you are. If you ain't got nothing to worry about, give me your license. I'll cut you loose. Have a good day. I just have to do my job and identify and make sure you're not here robbing, because guess what? If the house gets broken into, you're the person I'm going to come talk to.
who's the vehicle check like to?
Gerald Grant or something like that out of Oklahoma City.
Who?
Gerald Grant or something like that out of Oklahoma City.
Okay. But it's not stolen.
No, it didn't come back 29. Trust me, if it had been 29, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah, no, I know. I'll just ask these questions, right? So, all right, man. Well, listen, I wish I could be of more service to you, but I think you're right up close to you're not over the line there. That is a little unusual, but it's not necessarily evidence of any criminal activity.
Yeah. Unless I can prove that he's taking pictures he shouldn't be taking next to people's houses.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no crime in that either. I mean, shoot, people do that all the time.
But I meant like shooting into the house while naked people are naked.
Yeah,
and
like
whatnot.
concept.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So
Okay, man.
All right.
Let me know if it's available.
Hold on. Did they really just try and stretch this to a sex crime? We went from sitting parked on a public easement all the way to a sex crime. Now he's saying, well, the camera could mean that he's taking pictures into people's houses while they're nude. How did we even get there? I mean, it's in the afternoon. What is just happening? The cop can't get ID. He's got no probable cause. This guy hasn't done anything wrong. There's no moving violation because he's parked. The keys are not in the ignition. He has no probable, so he can't get his ID that way. There's no probable cause or reasonable articulable suspicion that a crime's been committed, so they can't get his ID that way. This guy's sticking to his guns, refusing to give ID. This shitbag cop calls his buddy and says, hey, listen, can I get some ID from him? This cop spends 10 minutes telling him to beat it. You can't get ID from him. He didn't do anything wrong. And he says, well, he's got a camera. What if he comes back at 3 a.m. and starts taking pictures of people's houses while they're nude? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. He's gonna get out and come back here and talk to us.
No, she just said you're arresting, and he's been videoing this whole time.
I know you've
Don't
been
answer
doing something.
questions. Go ahead and just lock me up. Secure my vehicle.
What are you arresting him for?
I don't know. Not very long.
All right, guys, let's also show how ineffective fucking police are. They've just figured out that there is nothing to arrest this guy. So if you put 2 in the chat that this guy would learn the law and then do the right thing, you were absolutely right. Because now he's getting out and he's saying, wait, I just talked to my direct supervisor, the guy that's running things, and he's saying we can't arrest him. What are you arresting him for? Now let's see them go at each other in defense of this innocent man.
What are you arresting him for?
Huh?
He hasn't violated really a crime yet. So
Are you investigating a crime or possible crime?
possibly?
Okay,
Suspicious
he's
vehicle.
obstructing an officer from doing his duty, right?
Okay.
Said you're meeting somebody here in a few
The
minutes.
officer has legal right to make contact with you based on a call.
And I don't
And
have
you're
to answer
obstructing that.
questions.
I'm not here to listen to you. I'm here to tell you what's going on. Okay, I don't care if you record me.
This whole interaction again.
We
I
are
don't
ours
care.
are recorded
Okay,
too.
you're obstructing an officer from doing his duty, so now you're under arrest unless you want to cooperate. Okay, that's the way it goes. Have a nice day.
Would you like to explain the address and the time on the folder inside your vehicle with the camera?
I don't answer questions.
Look,
You
man.
can identify yourself.
I don't answer questions.
Look, man.
They didn't ask a question. Hey,
Can you at least take your hands out of your pockets for me? Thank you.
Look, all I'm trying to do, man, if you're PI, no big deal. We'll get out of your hair. We gotta confirm who you are. Make sure, especially with the camera car, make sure you're not doing peep and Tom stuff. Okay?
Not a PI. So the only thing you can have a camera for is if
No.
if you're a PI.
No, that's not what I'm saying, sir.
Insurance adjusters aren't allowed to have
Are you
a
an
camera
insurance adjuster?
to take photographs of damage and stuff.
Are you an insurance adjuster?
I possibly might be.
Okay. Do you have any proof of that?
Okay, but I mean,
I'm
why
just
do I have to
saying.
answer questions?
I'm
I'm
just-
here for a legal reason. I'm
Can I at least-
not.
can I
I'm
get
just
your
not
date of
answering
birth?
questions.
Can I get your date of birth?
you're failing
I
to
don't
identify
have
yourself.
to by law.
You
I
are
have the
failing-
Fifth Amendment right
You are failing to
not to
identify
answer
yourself.
questions.
You
What
have
law
to
have I
identify
broken?
yourself.
What law have I
Obstructing
broken to
Is there anybody
identify
in
myself?
this house? Let's see if there's anybody at this
Put him
house.
in handcuffs.
What law have I done?
Turn up and turn right back for a second. You can place investigative detention, okay? You investigative detention at this time. You understand
I
that?
hope all your body cameras are.
They are, sir. Do you understand that? I said you're.
Just said
What did I say?
that I'm under investigative detention.
Okay. What does that mean?
I'm being detained.
Okay. So you're being detained.
I understand what that means.
All right. So
There's a difference between an arrest and a detainment.
there is. There is. You are correct. If you're an insurance adjuster, that's fine. We'll identify you. We'll make sure you're at the right house. Kick you loose. Not a big deal, bro.
Well, the folder for this house is right there. And the homeowner's not home, so she doesn't. If she,
Do you have the homeowner's name that I can contact? Make sure you're supposed to be here.
yeah, but that's none of your business.
Okay. That's
As a
fine.
matter of fact, if you want to go talk to that neighbor right there, he has the garage door to let me into the house so I can get a photograph of the inside of that garage door.
That's all you had to say from the beginning,
I
man.
don't have to tell you that. Don't you guys understand what my rights are?
Nobody said you have to tell us that. What we said is that you have to identify
I
yourself.
do not.
You do
I
have
haven't
to
broken a
identify
crime.
yourself. But we are here investigating whether or not you have. We have reason
You
to
have
believe.
every right
Listen
to
to me.
investigate.
Stop interrupting. You asked for my respect. I'm asking for yours in return. Okay? We are investigating because somebody called a suspicious vehicle and person in that vehicle. Okay? I'm not done talking. Within that investigation, we can identify you by getting your identification. You are required because we are investigating that you may be committing a crime, and therefore you must identify yourself.
What crime?
Trespassing.
Okay.
That's
Trust-
number one.
Okay, sir.
To be trespassed,
Keeping
I have to be
time
asked to
for
leave.
all we know.
Okay.
Okay,
And that's
for all we know.
to determine.
That's right. And
That's
in doing that,
part
we
of
have
your
to identify
investigation.
you.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
No. You can ask for my identification. I am not legally required to give it to you.
Except that you.
No, I'm not. My attorney has told me so.
I don't care what your attorney told you. You have to
I do.
identify yourself because we're
My
investigating
rights
a
are
possible
important to me.
crime.
My rights are important to me.
A possible crime is being investigated.
Okay, what crime?
I just told you two.
Okay. If then arrest me for those two crimes.
We're investigating that. We haven't determined that you've committed those crimes.
I haven't committed
However,
any crime.
we have to identify you.
No, you don't.
Can you look in?
I have a Fourth Amendment.
Wait, so I just want to understand what this cop just said. This cop just said you have to ID because we have articulable suspicion that is reasonable that suggests that you've committed a crime. The person that's being harassed here says, "What crime have I committed?" And he says, "We're not saying you've committed a crime." What? Everyone smash that like button. Again, this is OKC Vet HPA. If the moderators could please spam his link in the chat. Also, if you want a shout out or you want your name in our next video, you can go ahead and hit us with a super chat. Would appreciate the best form of support is that thumbs up button and sharing this video. He should be up here just momentarily to walk us through what happened after this.
Right? Not to tell you.
Address for that.
Obligation for him to identify himself. I mean, unless you've got reasonable suspicion that he's committing a crime.
Well, the thing is I have no reasonable suspicion to believe that he's not committing crime because he has a ladder in the back of the truck and he's in front of houses that aren't occupied right now.
I see. Okay. Yeah. There's no compelled ID statute in Oklahoma. I have to think about. I mean, do you have anything else to suggest that he might be involved in something illicit?
Well, I'm curious why a man from Oklahoma City is parked on a dead end road in Blanchard, and he has no. I ask him if he lives here, and he says I don't answer questions.
Okay. Yeah. So.
He asked if he was free to leave, and I said not at this time. I have my emergency equipment activated, and I'm trying to investigate.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're going to drive away, absolutely, you can make enough. You can or he's driving he's operating a motor vehicle, but you don't have a traffic violation at that point.
Well, I follow him out of town until I get one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, you don't have a complaining party. You haven't found him actually trespassing. All you've got is a guy sitting in front of an unoccupied house with a ladder in the back.
Yeah, and the road he's on is it's one of those not city Blanchard roads, but he says it's city easement, even though he's parked in this person's yard. Part of his truck is in the person's ditch line. He's like, well, that's easement. I'm like, well, this is a private road, so therefore it's not a city easement, buddy.
Right. Yeah, man, I don't think you got enough to compel him to give you his identification.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's not what you want to hear.
No, that's why I called you instead of just ripping him out of his truck.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Arresting. And
He's gonna get out and come back here and talk to us.
no, she said arresting. And he's been videoing this whole time.
I know
Don't
you've been
answer
doing something.
questions. Go ahead and just lock me up.
What are you arresting him for?
I don't know. Not very long.
What are you arresting? What are you arresting him for?
Huh?
He hasn't violated really a crime yet, so if not, what's
Are you investigating a crime or possible crime?
possibly?
Okay,
suspicious
he's
vehicle.
obstructing an officer from doing his duty, right?
Okay.
Said you're meeting somebody here.
Sorry, guys. We actually have the man, the myth himself. This is really one of the best handled interactions I've ever seen with law enforcement. He's going to come up here, and he is like an ardent supporter of the 1A community. He was in my buddy Delete Law's chat earlier today. He's been a subscriber of mine for a long time, and he's got his own channel. He's got about 7,000 subscribers. He's now going to come up and tell you how this whole thing panned out. You know, everything about this video is wrong. Just absolutely wrong. And this guy gets out of the vehicle and he says, listen, just take me to jail. I'm not answering any questions. I'm not giving you ID. You get nothing from me. I'm ready to go right here, right now. I'm ready to go to jail for this. Good on him. Guys, let me show you what his channel looks like. I want you to go on over there and tell him that Accountability for All sent you. This is OKC Vet HPA. This is what his channel looks like. This is his largest video. He's got just short of 1 million views on this video. And this is the type of person that you want defending our freedom. I've went on record saying recently that, truth be told, Audits has to be the best activist in the field right now. This is the most well-articulated citizen slash vet in the field right now. I mean, when you look at the way that this guy handled himself, it is just absolutely, it's really just nothing short of impressive. He's going to be up here in a second. So I'd like for you guys to just stand by. While you're here, if you would like a channel shout out, please type 1 in the chat if you're trying to grow your channel. And we'll shout you out. While we're waiting for him to get up here, we'll also say hello to our members. Please smash that like button. Feel free to super chat as well if you'd like. But again, best way to support is to smash that button. So I'm going to wait and see what channels we're shouting out here. And like I said, guys, please stand by because he'll be here in just a second. Please subscribe to Tyrant Searcher UK, Big Man Audits, Cops Can't Surf, As If It's Your Business, David Plosh, NC Tyrant Hunter, let's get him to 100,000, Michigan Constitutional Crusader, doing a great job, Black National Freedom Fighter, and NC Tyrant Hunter is the patriarch of the family. And ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to introduce to you OKC Vet HPA. What is up, brother?
Hey guys, how you doing?
That video is gnarly, man.
Hey, that cop that he goes to call, that's not actually a cop. That is the #1 assistant district attorney for McLean County, Mr. Travis White.
Okay, so the person that he's on the phone with that's telling him there was no probable cause to even be speaking to you, that was the district attorney.
Correct.
So the district attorney tells them there's no reason to arrest you and to let you go. And then he gets out of the car and the supervisor comes over and says to throw you in jail?
The chief of police, Mr. States White.
So you wound up getting arrested then?
He arrested me. I was under arrest. Less than 16 seconds after he arrived on scene, he determined that I was obstructing his officers.
So 20 minutes worth of body cam footage prior to his arrival showing no crimes committed, no probable cause, reasonable articulable suspicion. A 9-minute call with the district attorney confirms that you've done nothing wrong. And within 15 seconds of the chief of police being on the scene, without even knowing what's going on, you're wearing the bracelets and on your way to being kidnapped.
Correct.
So afterwards, did they drop the charges?
The officers never wrote the ticket. Okay, and get this. Okay, I went to file. Okay, right after I got done with my inspection, because what I do, I'm a insurance adjuster, and I was there to inspect that home for hail damage. And right after I got done with my inspection, I went to the Police Department and filed my FOIA request, which in Oklahoma is called the Oklahoma Open Records request for the body cam. Okay, that was on a Friday. On Monday morning, I had the link to all 3 body cams, and it didn't cost me a cent. Nothing. It didn't cost me a cent. They sent me the link. The videos were right there. So that after I got the videos and saw exactly what was talked about on that phone, I knew that this was going to blow up. And so I posted the videos, and I followed up with a complaint with the city manager against Stacy White, the chief of police. That didn't go anywhere. My whole recourse going from first to the city manager, that didn't work. So then I went then I found out I have to go to the county that I was in, which wasn't McLean County. It was, oh shoot, now I forgot the county. But anyway, I went to that county to file a complaint with the sheriff's department. They wouldn't take the complaint because it was a conflict of interest. So they said I needed to go to OSBI. So I went to OSBI to file a complaint. They said they don't take complaints from citizens. It's got to come through the sheriff's department. So I went back to the sheriff's department, and they said, well, you need to go to the county attorney's, district attorney's office, file your complaint with them. Well, they sent me back to the sheriff's department because they only accept complaints through the sheriff's department. So I went back to the sheriff's department, filed the complaint, and then after filing the complaint with the sheriff's office, I went to the FBI to file a civil rights complaint. I ended up getting swatted at the FBI as I'm sitting there in their interrogation room, going over the videos and everything with the special agent in charge. They get a call from a reputable agency, and they stated that I was there to harm their officers. I was there to kill police. So I got swatted by 15 FBI agents. I was forced to sign a document to allow them to search my truck because it was in their parking lot. They completely searched me. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
So you go through all these complaints. Now, obviously, the officers didn't file. So you were just, released immediately once you got to jail since they didn't file the ticket?
No, I didn't. They never transported me to jail.
Oh, it was catch and release then? Catch
and release. The officer, Officer Haynes, did not want to write up the citation for obstruction.
Now, this was the
right. That was the original officer. The body cam that was his body cam. He already knew, and as soon as he found out that there's no reason for me to identify myself, he should have let me go. Let the other officers know, hey, he's not committing a crime. He has every right to not identify. Per the district attorney, there's nothing we can do, guys. We got to let him go. That's what should have happened. But instead, the chief pulls up, throws his weight around, and has all his minions do his dirty work. And what ended up happening after all this, Officer Haynes was promoted to sergeant. Captain Bellany is still the under chief. Nothing happened. None of these officers were held accountable. None of them.
So I guess my question is now, and guys, if you're just tuning in, this is OKC Vet HPA. No, were you an activist at this point that this was done? This happened? You weren't, right?
No, I'd been.
You were dabbling in it, but you weren't like out there filming, right?
Correct.
So, and this is why I say this is one of the best videos I've seen, because when I see like the San Joaquins or like, I watch my buddies, like I watched Elite Laws or I watched Disorderly Product News. Like this guy was a vet, right? That wasn't in activism per se. He didn't like have a channel. I'm sure this jump started it, but he's out there saying, yeah, like you had no camera rolling. You didn't have an audience to impress. You didn't have to worry about losing subscribers. You could have just given your ID and kept it moving. And you were like, you know what? Like I serve this country. I have more respect for this Constitution and for this flag and for my service and the brothers and sisters I lost than to help you violate my own rights.
8 years I served in the Army, and I was not about to let these officers do what they were doing.
And thank you for your service on behalf of myself, the AFA family, and everyone in chat. So, I mean, guys, if you're just tuning in, I want to show you this part of this clip real quick from the video. Now, as you know, this cop spent 10 minutes, and we'll talk about a couple of the things that were said in Bodycam. But now he finally is educated by the district attorney that there's no reason to arrest this man. And now he's baffled. Let's take a look.
No, just arresting. And he's been videoing this whole time.
I know you've been
Answer
doing
questions. Go ahead and just lock me up.
What are you arresting him for?
I don't know. No.
What are you arresting him for? What are you arresting him for?
Huh?
He hasn't violated really a crime yet. So not
Are you investigating a crime or possible crime?
possibly.
Okay, he's obstructing an officer from doing his duty, right?
Okay.
Look how quickly that was decided.
Exactly. And the reason why I was obstructing is because I wouldn't answer their questions.
So after this, I guess I know that the big question, and then there's a whole nother topic people were going to broach very shortly. So this is just the beginning of it. But the next question people are going to want to know. Actually, I have a question. Have you been on Audit the Audit or Lackluster, any of those guys yet?
Yeah, Audit the Audit. I was on Audit the Audit.
Because I figure you got a lot of, like, by the amount of views you have on that, you have a lot of subscribers in comparison to it. So did you make it to Lackluster?
I didn't make it to Lackluster.
I'm going to forward this video over to him and have him take a look at it because it's just boss. Now, did you file any lawsuits?
I did file a 1983 lawsuit against
1983 USC?
Yep, against the city and the department.
Can you tell us?
I can't. I won the lawsuit. Of course, it was settled out of court within a couple of days with the city attorney's office and the city manager and the police department. I can't disclose how much it was for, but I did win the lawsuit. I mean, they settled out of court real fast because they know they would have lost it, especially with having the #1 assistant district attorney for for McLean County as my star witness. Here's something people don't know. I also was going to go file a complaint with the McLean County's district attorney's office to the district attorney for the conduct by Travis White for saying that that PIs are all douchebags. I mean, that was just uncalled for. And then within 10 minutes of that phone call, I get a call from their chief inspector, their chief lead inspector, and says, "Hey, look, I mean, the guy tried everything he could do to tell those officers, you don't have to ID yourself. He was advocating for you, telling him, look, you can't ID this guy. You're right there at the point, but he hasn't done anything wrong. Leave him alone." So, I mean, if you file this complaint, you're going to ruin this guy's career. He's been doing
And they just don't want to accept that, do they?
Right. Well, I didn't end up filing a complaint against him. I went ahead and withdrew my complaint because, I mean, thinking about it, he may have said something that, one, he didn't know he was being recorded. He didn't know he was on Bodycam. And, I mean, he was trying to tell the officers that, no, there is no stop and ID statute in Oklahoma. He doesn't have to identify himself if he's done nothing wrong.
Fucking legendary, bro. Legendary. So you can't tell us, obviously, the amount. So, guys, he's not going to tell us that. But what he can tell us is that you watched the video. His rights were violated follow through. He sues, he wins. The name of this video is actually going to change because it's going to go from what it is now to cop calls out other cop during illegal arrest, citizen sues and wins. And
That'll work.
you're active right now because Oklahoma isn't getting much better, is it?
No, Oklahoma just passed a law about 6 months ago, and let me pull that law up real quick, guys. If we record the police and we post it and it puts that police officer in a bad light, we can be convicted of a felony. Okay.
Hold on, wait. So I'm confused. Maybe you can clarify me. So if you're filming a cop beating somebody and you release a video showing the cop beating someone and that makes the cop look bad, you've committed a crime. Like, I thought a police officer, makes themselves look good or bad, not us. We're just there to film.
No, if we depict a police officer in a bad light and we post it on any social media, we can be convicted of a felony.
Can you give me an example? Like, would it be me going out filming a cop and say, this cop is a piece of shit tyrant pig, I hate him?
No. If you can say, I mean, that's free speech. You can say that all you want. If you take a photo, say you took a photo of you caught a cop sleeping in his patrol car, and you post that, you can be convicted of a felony.
That's crazy. So if you get a picture of a cop, for example, in Galveston, Texas, I seen a cop, Sunshine, Texas, cop is sleeping in his vehicle on the beach. I took a picture of it and I posted it on the internet to say, hey guys, just so you know, you're paying this guy $100,000 a year to sleep beachside. Obviously, so that would catch me a felony in Oklahoma?
In Oklahoma, it's a felony.
So I don't think Oklahoma is ready for you because you're going to be the fucking Oklahoman caped crusader.
I want to be the first one that takes that law to the Supreme Court. That's where I'm getting to be. I'm going to do it.
So because other states are not like Arizona. We have Arizona, Kentucky.
8-foot rule.
Right. Kentucky, it's actually illegal to call an officer a name. So if you're in Kentucky and you're filming and you say, hey, officer, you're a piece of shit, you have just committed a felony and it's punishable by up to 3 years in prison.
That's unreal. Unreal.
How do we
Oklahoma,
fix it?
It's 5 years.
5 years for making a cop look bad.
Yep. For depicting a cop in bad light.
So how do the folks in Oklahoma challenge this?
Somebody's going to have to get arrested and take it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court's going to abolish that law.
So
it's unconstitutional.
Let me ask you a question. There is a lot of people that film. There's no follow-up. There's no lawsuits. I have, I think, 7 complaints against police, 5 of them sustained over the spread of the country. I have sued. So I definitely have follow-up, but there are a lot of people that go, they want that bad reaction so they can get that viral video and they never follow up, right? And then you have the folks like yourself that aren't out there with 100,000 plus YouTube following that's willing to take that ride. Who is going to be more helpful to changing these illegal laws? The guys that have a mass following but aren't willing to follow through, or the Joe Schmo that might not have that kind of following but's willing to take the ride?
Man, I think if we get a lot of these bigger channels and get everybody on the same page, and we get a mass gathering here in Oklahoma and go around to the police departments and start holding them accountable. That's going to go a long way.
So I guess my question for you is, I had something scheduled for the folks at home. I had a documentary that I've been working on. That I'm in, a documentary. I'm going to be out by around the Kentucky, Missouri area. You guys know I'm going to be meeting up with Felix and Bronson and Wrights Crispy and Truth Be Told, a couple of other folks. what do you say? Maybe you and I get together in Oklahoma with a little crew and we start seeing if our cops depict themselves in a bad light.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Blanchard needs to be one of the first places we go, Oklahoma City being another one. But absolutely. Blanchard Police Department officer, Sergeant, it's now Sergeant Haynes. He's still doing the same things. I requested 16 body cams for one specific month, and it was 16 body cams. They were going to try and charge me over $3,000 to get those body cams.
Absolutely. You know, Mile High Medic, great friend to this community, an activist now himself, a very good friend of mine. He went through something similar. Like, folks, you think you have a right to have access to public documents, right? The amount of money that they charge you if you don't have the money to pay. And here's what I think is ridiculous. He has to get his rights violated by police to be able to have the money to pay for the body camera footage that exposes them. This type of stuff, it just needs to stop, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better. So what I think is, I think that maybe, I'm not even going to say, I'll let people decide at home. OKC already knows, but I may or may not have travel already booked. This is just stuff that we need to stick together. And I think the real heroes of this story are people like OKC, because when I have 1,000 people to 1,800 people in my live stream and I'm in front of cops and I have 20 million viewers, I have paid memberships, I'm in this primarily for activism, but I have to think for a second, and I'm honest, saying, wait, I'm going to look bad. If I give my ID, I'm going to look like shit. Maybe I don't give my ID. That never crossed your mind. What was the reason that you said no? You got out of the car and said, take me to jail.
Because I knew if they arrested me and took me to jail, I knew I was going to beat the charges. 100% knew that I was going to beat the charges, and that would have made my lawsuit even bigger.
And let me ask you a question. If you had a pretty good feeling that the judicial system is so corrupt out there that you may not have beaten the charges, would you still have did what you did and refused to ID and take that ride?
Absolutely. I would have taken it to the Supreme Court. I fought for my rights. I swore that oath. And I mean, that oath goes to this day. That's not an oath you just take to join the military and then that's it. Once your ETS is up, that oath you swore, that's for life. That's for life.
You're not even, you mean that 100% too. You would have taken that shit all the way to the SJC.
All the way. I don't care if it would have bankrupted me. And I mean, it's not going to bankrupt me, but I mean, I would have been able to pay my attorney whatever he needed to fight my case. So,
I mean, dude, you are a fucking legend. And I want to show why it's important for us as a community to stick together. We only have about 152 now left in here. But guys, if you've heard of OKC Vet HPA, please put a 1 in the chat. If you have not heard of him before this stream, please put a 2. And there's a reason that I am asking you guys. Because honestly, I think the problem here is that I knew OKC's name from being in chats and comments and stuff like that. I know that he's very involved in the community. But I didn't know how much he's done for the community. Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s, 7 2s, 8 2s. So it's about 50-50 right now. So you think we had 200 people in the chat at one point, 220, that 110 people didn't know who this guy is. But everyone in this chat and most all other auditing chats know who I am. And that's a problem, and I'll tell you why. I've got sustained complaints. I've got a couple cops fired, and my name is in some case law in Boston. This is that's defending my rights and working towards a solution to bring accountability for police. But this man right here, this is the man that risked his life so we could have security in ours. He went up against a corrupt system. He said, take away my freedom, but you're not going to take away my liberty. He put it all on the line. After it, he didn't stop. He took it all the way to court, and he wound up beating him. He wound up beating the system. And it's sad that everyone doesn't know who this man is. His name should be akin to the rest of us that are involved in this activism community. So, I mean, if you're not subscribed to him, I need you to. Like, that's legendary. Let's look at the people like HBO Matt, Joe Orga, Breaking the Flaw. There's very few people that have won big lawsuits in this, but those are all activists. This guy wasn't doing that at that time. Absolute legend, absolute hero. And these are the type of people that are going to change the world for us. People like me will help get the word out there. He's doing the groundwork. So what has been your experience with them after the lawsuit? Like, have you had some dealings with them?
The best part, man, the day after the settlement was signed and I received my check, I decided to, and it was a Saturday night. I drove to Blanchard. It was a little after midnight, and I saw one of the police officers washing his car in the car wash. So I get out, I park my truck, I get out, and I start recording on the sidewalk. He pulls out of the car wash and waves at me and drives on, right? Well, on Monday morning, I get a call from my attorney, saying, hey, I just received a phone call from their attorney, and they have a warning for you. If you come back into their town, they're going to find anything to arrest you for. And I said, oh, really? So guess what I did?
Went right back.
I jumped in my truck. I went right to the city manager's office to confront him about this. And within a couple of, not even a couple of days, I think a day later, I get another call from my attorney saying, hey, they just want you to know you're welcome anytime to come back. From what I'm understanding, you could go through their town at 90 miles an hour and run every red light, and they're not going to arrest you for anything. They're not even going to stop you. So that was pretty funny.
So, you guys at home, you have to follow through when stuff like this happens. So I want to, never mind. I'm not even I had another line of direction for the people at home, but I'm not even going to give it up. You got to check out his channel. Before this, I was watching a lot of other videos, and I'll tell you one thing. If you thought that was epic, watch each one of his videos. He's the exact same always. And he's like a magnet for shitty cops. It seems whatever cop is within a 3-mile radius of this guy just gets attracted to him like a ton of bricks. Like they want to be famous on his camera. I mean, he's really like the cop lawsuit guy. Like, if you want to get sued and lose, make sure you go see OKC Vet HPA.
Yep.
Let me ask another question. So this guy was trying to get it to, like, he's like, well, there's a camera, he could shine his camera into someone's house and get pictures of them naked. He tried to turn you sitting in a public road into a peeping Tom issue.
Exactly. I couldn't believe that.
He was trying to turn it into a sex crime.
I know.
They have nothing going on over there.
He just was so curious about why a guy from OKC is sitting in front of a house in Blanchard. It's none of your damn business. And me, I have a fiduciary responsibility to the policyholders that I'm out there adjusting for. Their information is not public information. I can't disclose that information, why I'm there or anything like that. That's none of their damn business.
And that's the whole point. Like, yes, there could be a whole, bunch of, I did think it was funny how here's how the prosecutors, do conspire with police. Cause the prosecutor said, listen, he didn't really do anything yet. You can follow him all the way out of town and wait till he does something wrong and then pull him over. The collusion was crazy.
Officer Haynes said that.
It was the cop that said it.
Right. Officer Haynes said that. And I mean,
So he wound
it's
up doing the right thing at the end, though. So if you were going to give this, I know the audit gave you a grade. If you were going to give this officer a grade, what would you give him?
an F all the way, F every single day, because he's still doing the same thing. A month
Oh.
after I got swatted by the FBI, I went in and I did a FOIA request and I got 3 videos of his. Okay. And he did the same thing to somebody sitting in the passenger side of the vehicle. He demanded their ID. She had a warrant for a traffic violation in another state. He arrested her, and he demanded her ID. He forced her to give him her ID, and he ended up arresting her. And I mean, just completely violated her rights. She wasn't doing nothing wrong, and it was for a traffic ticket.
Did she have ladders? Because that could have led them to believe she was a burglar.
I was hoping they were going to show in the back of the car and see if there was a ladder back there.
All right, guys. I'm going to again show you this screen. Guy is an absolute legend. We'll be doing more with him, and I don't think you're going to have to wait very long at all to maybe see us in a video together. But that's OKC Vet HPA. If the moderators could please spam his link in the chat. There's lots of ways to watch his videos. And some of you guys might say, well, I'm going to go to the video section and I'm going to set the filter to most popular. I think one of his best videos is his most popular. I've only seen about 5 or 6 of them, but some of the hidden gems, I will just say, start watching from the more recent uploads. He has one that was just done recently and then one from months ago, but watch the more recent uploads. There's one that doesn't have a ton of views. But it's really, really good. Every single video this guy has is a banger. So as if it's your business, just put the link out there. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Tell him AFA sent you.
My latest one was from Gilbert, Arizona. This happened right behind my in-laws' house. And I just want to say rest in peace to my father-in-law, who just passed away on this last Saturday. But I was in Arizona, and this a police interaction happened right behind my in-laws' house, and I recorded that there in Direct D's neck of the woods. So,
have you been out with him yet?
No, I tried to get a hold of him while I was down there, but I had to rush back to Oklahoma, an emergency flight back to Oklahoma, so I could get some stuff handled. And we're going to have my father-in-law's services at the end of April once we get all the VA. He was retired Marine Corps, 23 years. So I'm super proud to call him my father-in-law. And I was married to his daughter. Most everybody who follows me knows my wife passed away on September 30th, 2020. And her father just passed away on Saturday. So rest in peace to Jerry Dietz. He was an amazing man.
So defending our, it said that those who would sacrifice essential liberty for temporary security deserve neither liberty nor security. And I think people forget that in our daily life, it's just so easy to not put yourself out there and to not stand up when you should, because you have all these things that you could lose, right? You could lose your great financing rate on your credit card, and you have to get your kid to soccer practice, and a good Netflix movie's coming out, and you don't have time to go to jail for that. And I can understand where you come from. You don't want to lose things, but the most dangerous dog in a fight is one with nothing to lose. And 3% of our nation had nothing to lose when they stood up and fought. And gentlemen like this man here, who fought for our freedoms, he risked his life and sacrificed his time with his family so we could be secure with ours. Obviously, defending our Constitution, our liberties, and our freedoms runs in his family. And I just want to let you know that besides from your service, I'm sorry for your loss, but this community owes a great, great debt to you. It does. Because what you've done for us just in that one video, holding them accountable, taking that ride, leaps and bounds. You're the type of people that, you're the type of person that puts us ahead of the game. Cops are running to keep up with people like you that are doing what you do. And if not for people like you being activists and supporters and defending that Constitution long after the uniform's gone, you know, we couldn't be living free the way that we do. So I applaud you and I thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right.
And
Guys-
Blanchard's Day is coming because I'm getting ready to go do another FOIA request, and I'm going to put
like a dog with a fucking bone.
I'm going to just throw $5,000 cash down as a deposit, saying I don't care what it costs, get it to me now.
Okay, so you're a freedom dog with a tyrant bone, is what you are. Right?
There you go.
All right, well, I appreciate it. I'll catch up with you in the back on the back end, guys. Please make sure you go to OKC Vet HPA, subscribe to his channel, and when you get there, don't. I normally tell you to let him know that AFA sent you, but let him know that you thank him for his service. You're sorry for his loss, and you can't wait to see him on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
All right, peace out, guys. Thanks a lot. That's the reason I stopped you today. Pow.